You know when you're doing your axles, you're always falling and popping on them? Well, that changes today, as I'm now going to show you some ways to prepare for the axle off the ice and on the ice. Now, before we do any of the axles on the ice, let me show you a quick drill I learned from Coach Michelle Hall, whose channel will be linked in the description, and I'll just quickly show you some helpful exercises that will help you on the ice and clear up some skating terms on the way. Now, let's start off by having our skating leg face towards the wall to imitate a backwards outside edge on the ice, right? So, have our leg out like this. Remember, a skating leg, or skating leg, is the leg you're currently standing on. So in this takeoff position, or the wind-up position, we are standing on our right leg. And this will change as the next step, we will get to our left leg on the ground, which changes the skating leg. Now, let's go back into our previous position with our right leg facing towards the wall and our left leg facing outwards. Now, our left leg, it is not touching the ground or the ice right now, which makes it our free leg. Now, our next step for this is we're going to bring in our ankles and bring them together. So this way we can line up for the axle. And then we will have our arms facing in front of us to outside the circle. So that way when we step, we bring our arms back, and we must make sure that our left arm is in line with our skating leg, which makes this our skating leg. Same applies with our arm behind us, our skating leg. Now, it is important that you lead your axle with your left arm, your skating arm. Whoa, the background changed? It's almost like I have 5 days until this project is due. Or, I don't know, whenever I release it. Anyways, let's go back to our previous position, right? We are going to go into our backwards outside edge, then bring in our legs, have our arms facing towards us, step, and bring our arms back. Remember, to keep our left shoulder facing, leading us, whoopsies, and our right shoulder behind us. Then we're going to jump and make sure that our legs are crossed, and our right shoulder and left shoulder making sure that they're still in the same position as before, and having our arms crossed here. Jump again, land out, making sure not to drop our hips. Now I'm going to show you a few exercises that you can do off ice that should be able to help you do them on ice, your axle of course. Now I don't know much, but I'll try my best. Why don't we do some squat jumps, right? Now, if you don't know, squat jumps is where you squat, then you jump. Squat, jump. Now, I would recommend doing 10 sets of 5 of these, alright? Because these will help you increase your jump power. And another exercise we can do to increase our jump power will be box jumps. Now, I don't have a box or the proper box to jump on. You can do it on any surface, however, like a bench. I can't really demonstrate here, but here's a video of it, right? So, yeah, I'll just let you watch it. Okay, good. So, I would recommend that you do 10 sets of 5 of these. Now, I have one final exercise. So what we're going to do is we're going to hold onto this wall, cross our legs, and then jump and push our leg out. Now, This is going to help us greatly when we land our axles on the ice, because usually you may or may not have the habit of swinging it around to land. So doing this exercise often will help you do it the proper way by having it lifted up and then push out. Alright, so let me do it again. So we're going to go here, jump, and push out. Now let's hop onto the ice. Now, let's apply what we've just learned on our axle. We are going into our right backwards outside edge, then stepping forward, getting into our wind up position, and then we jump through, snapping midair and landing out. Now, this example, I wouldn't say is the best, but it gets the point across. I'm going to show you some on ice exercises that will surely help you with your axle. So let's begin. The most important one out of all these is the backspin, as it is the fundamental for all of your axles and double jumps going forward. It is basically the position you are supposed to hold in the air, so doing this backspin will help you. Next, we can add a loop at the end of our backspin, which will help us find our balance and stability. You see, once we do our backspin, we have to be stable before we can do a loop. This will not only help you with your backspin, but also landing your axles properly and staying upright in your axle. Now, let's move on to a waltz click, where we will do a waltz jump, but mid-air, we will hit our boots together and then land. When you do an axle, sometimes your driving knee is quite slow to come back down. So this waltz click exercise will ensure that it comes down faster. Let's now go back and do our waltz jump regularly. However, we're going to add a backspin to the end of it. The rotation of the axle comes from this backspin position. So doing this exercise will ensure that we are able to snap into that backspin position. If we add a loop to it, it will do the same thing for us, emphasizing how we have to land on our right foot to get ready for the loop and the backspin. Finally, we have bunny hops. These are very simple jumps, but do help your axle quite a bit. The bunny hops will make sure that when you jump off your toe pick, and will also make sure your knee gets high enough. And that is what's important for the axle. Well, that's all I'm going to show you today, and I hope I helped you somewhat. Bye.